Hello everybody, this is RPG here, and as you can tell, this is episode 11 of the 4DS Audio Podcast. And in this episode, we do have me, RPG. We also had Carlio, Omega Mario 17, and we also had a special guest with us, who is 16-Bit Jeff from ReviewTopia.net. And there are some things that I do want to address really quick before we, get started with this episode. Is that not 16-Bit Jeff, but when we started this podcast, when I was recording the audio through Skype, for the first 2.5 minutes, the audio did not capture the, from the ends of Carlio, Omega, and 16-Bit Jeff. So, but fortunately enough, Omega Mario accidentally cut off the connection, and then we had to stop the recording, and we had to wait about 30 minutes before he got his connection back online. And then we started the recording again, and then all of a sudden, when I checked the audio feed, everybody was coming in okay. So for the most part, everybody came in on this episode just fine and dandy, throughout the whole 2 hours we were talking. So yeah, it's going to be a long episode today, and hopefully we will entertain your needs for 4DS Audio Podcast goodness since we're back from Christmas break. Unfortunately, one of our co-hosts is not back from Christmas break yet because he still does not have an internet connection until January 17th. And that other co-host is TheBadGamer. Don't worry, he'll be back within the next couple of weeks. But for right now, you're going to be enjoying episode 11 with me, RPG, Carlio, Omega Mario 17, and 16-Bit Jeff from ReviewTopia.net. We all hope that you enjoy this episode, and have a great listen, guys. See you on the next episode. But for those of you joining the 4DS Audio Podcast for the first time, we are a weekly audio podcast, and we just came back from our Christmas break. But we're a weekly show where we talk about the big highlight, which is the biggest piece of news. Then Retro Gems, where we talk about a video game series, a video game, or a video game character in retrospect. The big release, which is self-explanatory. We talk about the big release of the week. Then we go to the execution, which is our favorite segment, where we talk about a game that we feel needs to fade from its obscurity or to die for all in eternity. And then we go to the video game playground to talk about which games we have been playing as of recent. And with 16-Bit Jeff here, I think that it's going to be quite a jam-packed show for all of us today. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get started. And it's time for us to get back on track with the 4DS Audio Podcast and get on with the big highlight. The big highlight!
Yay!
Yes!
Awesome!
Finally! Yes! Woohoo!
Took us how long?
Yeah, I wonder how long it took us to get this gravy train rolling, but we're finally back on track. Okay, anyway, guys.
It got caught in some delays. But
yeah, I got caught in some delays, and there was a bunch of mashed potatoes just blocking the train tracks, so we couldn't even get the gravy train rolling ahead of time, so.
Yeah.
Okay, on the big highlight today, we actually found a little piece of news, which is actually kind of very exciting and very big at the moment. And from what we know, the UK games industry outlet called MCV, which I'm sure that Omega is a little bit more affiliated with, and they said
not really. I haven't 100% heard of them, but
okay. Well, they have reported that this upcoming E3 in June, where Microsoft and Sony are planning to present their next generation consoles at the event, which is what they are dubbing the next Xbox or Xbox 720 and the PlayStation 4. And they said that the source that they heard about this comes from a 100% concrete, ultra high level source. And I'll go ahead and read.
Supposed to be true or not? We'll see soon enough.
Yeah, but I'll go ahead and I'll read the quote from the online editor for MVC, what he said on Twitter, and he says this: "Obviously, we can't reveal our sources at the moment, but you have my personal word on this. The source is exemplary, 100% concrete, and ultra high level." And this is where they're going to try to steal the Wii U's thunder and giving the competition to be a really great one, which we have not seen in the past 15 years.
Now, honestly, this would make a lot of sense, considering just kind of like with what Nintendo and Sony, Microsoft and Sony did with the motion controls last year or so. And now when now with Nintendo says, "Oh, we're gonna make a new console." Well, shit, we also gotta make a new console now.
Yeah, and watch your language there, Carlio.
Whatever. But besides, plus, they have it kind of out for a while now, haven't they? Without their new upgrade and whatnot. I mean, the PS3 is still going to be out in the market, and it's probably Xbox 360 too.
And that was another thing that I wanted to bring up too, is that Sony's been saying that they do not plan to reveal the PlayStation 4 anytime soon because they still want to make the PlayStation 3 brand a 10-year-long life cycle. But that's what they said about the PlayStation 2 before they went to the PS3 with keeping the PlayStation 2 on a 10-year life cycle as they went to the, current generation console, the PlayStation 3 right now.
Yeah. Well, and again, the PS2 is still one of the more sold consoles out there, aren't they?
It's the highest sold console out on the market. Sold over 150 units, 150 million units worldwide. Jeff,
it still technically is in its 10 year thing. So it probably still will. Even if the PS4 is revealed. So yeah, they still can technically reveal those the next gen, I suppose.
Oh yeah, it's true. Jeff, what are your thoughts about this? I mean, since you work with Reviewtopia, do you have any thoughts about this source that comes from this this online outlet or industry outlet or whatever?
Well, to be completely honest, I've never heard of MCV before in my life, so this is kind of new to me as a publication. This is new to me as a publication in the first place that I never heard of. But if they really do have concrete sources, and if this is really true, then I really don't know. I have mixed feelings. Like, okay, it's understandable they want to show their next-gen consoles, to obviously compete with Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Are we truly ready for a next-gen console war?
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to. It's really kind of hard to say because when you take a look at the graphics, with the engines that they put on the PS3 and the Xbox, it kind of makes you wonder how far how far in detail can the eye see within video games these days?
True.
Yeah, we have soon reached our limit, if I remember correctly, listening to the lessons, listening to science lessons, whatnot.
And to be fair, I mean, I understand that both Microsoft and Nintendo would be ready. That's fine. But what about Sony? Are they truly feel confident enough that they're ready to go to the next gen? Because let's face it, the PS3 when it was released, its first 2 years wasn't its greatest. They lost a lot of money in those first 2 years when the system was launched, and they're just starting to get more money back because of that.
Right.
So in reality, are they truly ready for a next gen console when they're trying to get money back from the then recent console right now? You know what I mean?
Well, either that or they're still trying to get a lot of money back after the whole thing with Anonymous last year, or the the PSN outage.
Right, but I'm saying in general, like, how much they banked on the PS3. I mean, are they truly ready to show off the PS4 and actually launch it around a reasonable time frame as to whenever the 360 successor comes out, or even the Wii U comes out later this year? Like, do they have an actual concrete timetable this time around, unlike they did with the PS3? Because if they do, then that's fine. If they don't, they probably need to go back a little bit more to the drawing board to have a concrete launch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But at the same time, when you take a look at the PS3 as it is right now, it's the only console that has the most superior hardware, more superior than the 360.
The hardware compared to the 360 and of course the Wii, the hardware is top notch pretty much. How can you upgrade in a hardware sense? How can you upgrade the PS3?
that's the thing I don't get too, because when you think of next gen, you think of innovation. You know what I mean? Like how you top off the previous gen. You know what I mean? How can you go from this generation, which introduced us to HD graphics? How can you top that off for the next gen?
3D. Well, no,
that
Palio.
too. Well, that's obviously gonna be one of the sad things too. But, and it's kind of ironic because this was just announced. This was just released on a leaked memo that there was some talk of DVR in a future Xbox model.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that can be the big thing, like DVR capability. I can see that being a successful thing for next gen consoles.
Oh,
especially for the PS4 and the 360 successor. That'd be actually a smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be really great. Then I wouldn't have to buy any DLSS or anything.
What I truly heard is there could be a new definition coming out. So like we got standard definition, high definition. Apparently they're going to bring out these ultra definition TVs.
Ultra definition.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Philips, if I remember correctly, Philips have been pushing this their new type of television, which is apparently displaying even more than what the current is. Like, apparently, in some movies, according to them at least, in some movies, the screen is not showing everything. Apparently, somehow.
That's the first I've heard of it.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. Same here, but they apparently they had a lot of stuff in on the YouTube advertisement and whatnot. And I don't know. Maybe that can be something that these consoles will be ready for the next generation of televisions, maybe, or somehow.
Well, to be honest, I'm not really sure, how far the graphics leap would be, because I've been hearing a lot of people saying that the graphics leap from this generation to the next generation won't be that heavy as it was from the jump from PS1 to PS2 or to PS2 to PS3.
And they're right, it won't.
But in some ways, wouldn't that be a positive light on the next gen consoles? Because let's face it, wouldn't they be a little bit more cheaper this time around than this console's generation was?
Yeah, and it would even give developers more freedom to make a lot more games this time around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem I've been seeing with every next-gen console that comes out that's always been better than, in terms of, like, the technology and the graphical prowess and all that, is that they have... And this goes for Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, is that they haven't had any successful launch games within, a console's launch or whatever. And it's like you got to have killer... titles around at launch for them to become really big successors or to really become really big successes. And that's the problem that both three companies have not even seen, is a really successful launch in terms of the software that they put out.
Well, here's the thing. For the next gen consoles, if there's one fad I like to see become more of a reality, is that of less exclusives and more multi-platform IPs.
Oh yes.
Because when you think about it,
if
you I understand why the term exclusive is in existence, because let's face it, that's the thing that sells the console. But when you think about it, it's only on that console. Compared to multi-platform, it'll be on all three of the consoles, and in some ways you get more revenue. In some ways, don't you think?
Yeah.
But go ahead, Omega.
I honestly think that's why Tecmo this year, especially with Ninja Gaiden 3 and Dead or Alive 5, they're going to do it on multi-platform. Because if you can remember, Dead or Alive
you bring up Toby Nitsuki being highly biased to the PS3, Yeah.
If you can remember, from Dead or Alive 3 onwards, like up to Extreme 2, it was pretty much exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah, but of course, with Itagaki working on Devil's Third, it's going to be a multi-platform.
Listeners in the audience, if you don't remember how bad it was, let's just say he was a Japanese equivalent to Gabe Newell.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
GABEN.
But
so
anyway, go ahead.
Pretty much, the more games we have multi-platform, it's the better, because I don't really want to see the next gen always being, oh, we got this exclusive still. It's just getting childish now. I mean,
Agreed.
People are saying Battlefield 3 is better on PlayStation 3 just because it's on one disc.
To be completely honest, that's not true. Where it really shines is on the PC, because that's where it was originally developed on.
Obviously.
Yeah, and that's the best place
PC.
to where you need to play Skyrim is on the PC, because it was originally developed on the PC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most things are originally developed on the PC.
PC, exactly.
I'm just saying about the consoles between the two. Sure, PCs nowadays mainly do, but I mean, like, between the two consoles, that's all you hear. It's like, oh, we can play this game better than your console. Look at Skyrim. 360 only had texture issues. What did Skyrim users have? Oh, my game kept crashing and freezing and deleting the data.
Oh, Jesus, don't get me started with the PS3 version.
Yeah.
But I agree wholeheartedly with what Mega Sonic is saying. It's like, if there's one innovation I would love to see if the next generation cycle we're going into right now, is that it's fine to have better graphics, because that's what really sells your console. The better graphics, the better processing power you have, that's fine, because that's what really sells the console, and that's what Nintendo screwed up with the Wii. But besides that, if there's one innovation I would love to see, is that developers working more in the industry itself, and to actually extend an arm to Japanese developers, and vice versa, Japanese developers extending their work to us.
Yeah.
Having more of a full-on relationship with the industry in general. That's the innovation I would love to see with this next-gen console war coming up.
Like first-party developers working closely with third-party developers.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
Or better yet, what about Sony and Microsoft teaming up together to do a console?
That would be awesome.
I would actually like to see that.
Happen. I would love, what if everyone could bury their, I suppose, Battle Axes, and Nintendo's, Sony and Microsoft, they all buried their Battle Axes, and, made games together. But it will never happen, because, that won't really profit.
If they joined together, then that would pretty much just make competition become obsolete.
Right.
Yes, and it will suddenly become monopole on everything. So
But
it's
in
an
some
horrible.
ways- But in some ways, I can understand what you're saying, because less competition means less of the whining and bitching about, oh, this console's better. Oh, no, this console's better. I can see that that's obviously a positive light, and that's something that needs to start, too, because let's face it, what is the point of this whole console war? It shouldn't matter which one has the better graphics, which one has the better processing power. It's a game.
Yes. It's the games that come for the console.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Who cares if it comes on multiple discs like Battlefield 3 for the 360? It's still the same game. We get the same experience on both consoles. So, really, what is the point in moaning?
Yeah, there's no need to do that, I suppose.
It's just. I get why people always get excited for next-gen console wars, because it's like, it's a brand new console. You get to see what upcoming games are coming out for this said console.
Yeah.
But it's just that's fine and dandy, but you know what? How about more innovation? How about being more open-armed to our development industry here in the U.S., or even around the world, including Japan? How about branching into the Japan too, and vice versa, Japan developers branching in here, so we can have a more conclusive industry as a whole? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but yeah, in a dream sense, it would be perfect. I mean, from a gaming sense, from a gamer sense, it would be awesome to just see the companies just getting together in a sense. But in a what's it called? In a competitive sense, I don't know. It's a horrible idea, because no competition, more money made thanks to monopolism, but higher, just higher prices everywhere. If you think this was bad, it's $699 for the original PS3. Yeah, it would probably be higher.
No, but I always thought that, if we have more of a well-established ideal of an industry, not only in our country but Japan, obviously, that would be more. It would bring more of a creative flow to us, because that's the problem.
Yes. Yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would like to see a Western developer take on some of Japan's biggest biggest IPs.
Yes.
Like Nintendo kind of had this thing where they want to have retro studios work on the next Zelda game or whatever.
Yes,
and you know what?
Nintendo have tried with that already, thanks to retro studios.
Yep. And I've constantly said how much I've despised Capcom, but there's one thing I gotta give them credit to, is that they're giving their own beloved IPs to Western developers, and sometimes it's working beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Maybe that would be best for the Japan industry in the future, because let's face it, some of their games, not all Japanese developer mind you, but majority of them, they're doing the same exact stuff that it's not working. You know what I mean? It's becoming stale.
Yeah, and that's why
that we're better. Obviously, we're in the same boat too, but they're kind of worse.
Yeah, and that's why I see a decline in the number of gamers within Japan, is because they realize how redundant most of the games have become in terms of the tropes and all that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Actually, chase and whatnot.
Yeah, but there are some people that actually, there are some developers and some game designers that tend to try to deviate themselves from the norm, and Platinum Games and Grasshopper Manufacturer, and there are those who tend to want to make their games really well made and different from the norm. I mean, take a look at people like Hideki Kamiya, Shinji Mikami, Tetsuya Nomura, even Suda51, all those people.
Or even a developer like Atlas. I mean, look at the games that they made with PSOne and most recently Catherine. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you may or may not like those games, but hey, you can't say that they're not being original in Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm trying to get the gist at, is that we need to be more creative and be more
a bit more unified.
Oh yes,
be a bit more unified.
We have been lacking.
We've been lacking since, I like to say, '98.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, seriously, look at the big games lineup this year. Last year, I suppose, 2011. Look at the November, the big releases that year. What was it? Modern Warfare 3, Battlefield 3.
Well, that came out in October.
Well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But,
no. November was Uncharted 3. Uncharted 3.
Yeah, Uncharted 3. You had Modern Warfare 3, Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Yeah,
and
all of them were sequels.
Skyrim.
All the games were sequels or follow-ups on the same thing.
It's us. It's the sad thing is, it's our fault. The audience.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with that. It's our fault because we buy them because they are recognized brands of us. We recognize these brands and we want to buy them because we know that they're probably gonna be good.
And that's the sad problem. It's because we care more about a more established IP than that new, unique one that's just being made.
Like Chainsaw Lollipop, anybody?
Or better yet, does anyone remember Homefront?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was an interesting... Yeah. That was an interesting take. I mean, it wasn't the best take, mind you, but it was interesting.
But it was great. It was great, but no one gave it any notice. They didn't give it even a try because, Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare. Exactly.
Or even Battlefield. That's what really pisses me off about first-person shooters. It's like, that's become a trope itself too with militaristic games like Battlefield or even Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's become the Western game developers trope is
exactly.
First-person shooters, and I tend to see quite a redundant amount of them. It's like, okay, how many more are we going to see of the same thing, even though they come up with some of their own unique gameplay elements, but most of them tend to, pretty much be the same. I mean, you're in first-person view, and you have a gun, and you're just shooting enemies in the head most of the time.
To be honest, I would like to see developers go more back to the obscure yet over-the-top style of first-person shooters that we grew up in the 90s when first-person shooters were starting to get recognized.
Like Doom.
Like Doom, or more recently, the one that both Epic.
3.
No, I was thinking more of
Bulletstorm.
Bulletstorm.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
Bulletstorm was
that's true.
I mean, it was. Yeah, it's the same thing there. It wasn't the best game of all time, obviously, but you know, it was. It's just like Homefront. It was an interesting take on a genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like
It wasn't. It wasn't a great. It wasn't the best take, but it was a take at least.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Like
exactly.
You know, why haven't people or even developers in general thought that since first-person shooters are big these days? Why haven't they even thought of, like, taking it and putting a different spin, like something unique, something different? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see what you're coming at, Jeff. And, you know, for something like this, it kind of makes you wonder whether or not if the video game industry itself is on the verge of collapse.
Oh, like another
crash.
A crash, but worse.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we need. A new, you know, maybe that's the sad part. Maybe that is really what we need. A new game crash, or you know, like the one when E.T. came out, the really really bad game that essentially almost killed the industry.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't E.T.'s fault. It was Atari's fault in general because of their management that time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it almost killed the industry, but what happened? Nintendo, I mean, I think it was mainly Nintendo in a way.
Yeah, Nintendo and Sega.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nintendo
They
and
came out and
Sega.
they saved it. Yeah, they saved it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and maybe that's what we need. It's sad to say, but yeah.
It is. I mean, to be honest, it's kind of ironic when you bring that up because look at the majority of Japanese RPGs. They're not that memorable or exciting that they used to be. Like when we were kids growing up in the '90s, the majority of them suck.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing is that look at our RPGs that are made in Western development houses, especially Skyrim. I mean, they're more immersive. They're more you know open world. They're more you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
they're more non-linear.
Thank you.
Yeah, I may have my own problems with Skyrim, which I may take up later, but I cannot say that it is not a bad game. It is It is one of the best games of all time.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Oh yeah.
I just think it's sad that you know development houses that in Japan just like basically like you know Capcom like with Breath of Fire they're not doing anything with that no more.
I'm saddened by that.
Square Enix. Their quality went down the drain, and this is the same development house the game was Final Fantasy.
He's right, and honestly, yeah.
And it's just sad that development houses like RPGs like BioWare and even freaking Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I do not get it. What happened in this shift that made Japanese games worse and sort of Western development games? Now, I'm not saying that we're better again, mind you, but in some light a little bit better. You know what I mean? It's just
I mean it's like back during the days of like retro consoles like the NES. It's that Western games they were not that great, but when you take a look at games now, that most of them are actually pretty outstanding. Whereas back then, Japanese games were actually more outstanding, but if you look at it now, they just only become worse.
Exactly.
It's like
become more generic and generic.
I'm just trying to think of that effect where one side starts worse, but then they get better, but the other one started better, but then they got worse.
And even with games like say for a better example, one of the better games that came out 2 years ago in 2010, Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yes, that's right.
It made you feel immersed with the character because of the storyline and what he went through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
that was itself a sequel to another game, but that's Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Revolver.
but it's just still it's just like I just don't get like if Western games, you see more Western games have more emotional characters they have emotion compared to Japanese games. Not all of them, mind you, but just a handful, majority of them. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think even one of the more recent ones back in 2010, which I actually thought was pretty interesting for a Western-developed game, was Heavy Rain on the PS3.
Right.
Oh, yeah, same thing there. My gameplay-wise, not the greatest thing, but it was innovative at least.
Well,
gameplay wasn't good, but it didn't matter because it was the story itself. It was the story. It was the music. It's what made everything you see in a movie itself immersive. You cared about the characters. You cared about what was going on.
Right.
That's why I want to see games go more towards in the future, that you care about what's going on in said game.
Okay, by the way, I mean, I don't wanna, be the ice pick, but if we're gonna go on like this, we can go on like this for the days because there's so much, bad negative points about the industry today. Like, we need to quit somewhere.
It's really sad, like you said earlier.
Yeah, but we need to kind of stop and continue with the show.
Right. I was just trying to get my point with next-gen consoles. We need to think more in ourselves about where it should go in the future. Not doing the same stuff we've been doing for the past 10 to 15 years. You know what I mean?
Right. I understand where you're coming from, Jeff. And, that may be something that we'll have to see whether or not if it happens with the next-gen consoles. Because, it's just... If you guys don't want to see another video game crash happening because of where games are going now, and I'm not really big into smartphone gaming either, because I definitely think that
yeah,
because I definitely think that people who make smartphone games, they're usually short-term profit games, meaning that they're only going to make a lot of money now, but they don't have any means of avoiding a loss in the future.
Well, to be honest, it's not worth thinking about because, let's be honest, that's just a fad way to go away. It really is. When you really think about it, it's just a fad way to go away. Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. If it weren't, playing a game on tablet is fine because it's just like a console. You know what I mean? In some ways, it is because that's what I can see that kind of being the future of portable handhelds. To be honest, you know what I mean?
Right. But with the source saying, that they see that both Microsoft and Sony's next-gen console going to make an appearance at E3, it just makes me wonder if they really were spooked by the Wii U's appearance from last year.
And probably were.
Probably.
Yeah. And here's another thing I like to say is that who knows? Maybe that's just this is obviously going to be an unveiling. We really don't know if this is going to be like, we also have a date when it's coming out, or even a price point.
Right.
Yeah, and if it's around Wii U, then we know why.
Yeah. I would have to say probably the things that kind of spooked them were the tech demo from last year. Well, the tech demo with the bird flying around thing, as well as the Zelda HD experience. Because you got to face it, the HD experience, the Zelda HD experience, that actually looked very darn impressive running real time.
To be honest.
Yeah, running off of the hardware in real time, that is really amazing.
So it kind of makes...
Oh, yeah. And not only that, but it's... and I think even the controller has kind of gotten them a bit scared as well, because, I mean, just look at it. I mean, sure, it might be taking some...
It's essentially a tablet.
I mean, Nintendo has said that, with the tablet controller that they're doing, they are trying to take a stance against the tablet market since it's become very popular right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny you brought up the Zelda HD demo that was shown at E3 last year, because I got a theory. I don't know if it sounds far-fetched, but it could be true. You know how Miyamoto has recently stated he thought of having Retro make a Zelda game, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, you don't say.
Is it just me, or does that feel of how they showed the HD experience game last year? Doesn't that feel like a game that was made by a Western development team?
Yeah, and when you take a look, and if you look at it, it kind of does look like it's from Retro Studios, because if you take a look at the graphics, or like the environments and the design that they made for the Metroid Prime games, as well as Donkey Kong Country Returns, it looks kind of similar. In a sense.
Not only that, but the reason thing that it points me is that, like, every time you see Link was in battle, even in a tech demo, it was over the shoulder. And that's a very popular trope that we see in Western games, especially third-person games. You know what I mean?
Right.
That got me to thinking maybe this game is it may sound crazy, but maybe this game is being made by Retro and we don't even know yet.
Yeah. And besides, Nintendo has said that they want to now see a new Zelda game within every 3 years or whatever.
Right.
Because of how long it took for Skyward Sword to be made after Twilight Princess came out.
Oh, I love that game.
Oh, yeah. Skyward Sword was amazing. And if any of you have not picked it up at Christmas, go pick it up right now.
It is good.
We implore you
Pseudo.
to do so.
Yes.
It's 10 times better than Twilight
Unless you don't like motion control sound.
Right.
Well.
But anyway, to conclude on this subject, guys, we don't know if, whether or not if the source, is 100% concrete, but it might be. But we just don't know yet until we see it at E3, and I think that's going to be a lot of, that we're going to be hearing in the coming months is more about whether or not if this source is actually true or not, or, with other people getting their 2 cents on it. But we'll just have to see what the future holds, and like I said, we will have to know until E3 this June.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I'm sorry, but to be honest, it sounds realistic because what I was trying to say earlier is that, like, them showing it this year, it does kind of say that the next-gen console war is officially going to start next year in 2013, because that does sound concrete when you think of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree on that. But we'll just have to see.
Right.
And since we've been on this topic for far too long, I think it's now... I know, since when we get on one topic, we like to, put in our 2 cents with, a lot of this... on one topic for very long. But anyway, we need to go ahead and we need to move on to our next subject, and that is Retro Gems.
Retro Gems.
And since 16-Bit Jeff is with us, he has declared what our game we should talk about for Retro Gems should be today. And what game should we be talking about?
It's not the game you think it is.
Nope, we're talking about an unrated classic that was ironically released from Square Enix way back in 1999-2000. And it was the beloved PS1 classic, Chrono Cross.
Yes. And as many of you,
Chrono Trigger yet.
if some of you haven't even heard of this game, but most of the purist of the Chrono series have heard about it, it is considered the spiritual sequel or spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger that was on the Super Nintendo back in 1995.
Some would even go as far as say it's an official sequel to Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, minus the development team who worked on Chrono Trigger because they didn't have Akira Toriyama doing the character designs in Chrono Cross or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, yes, I definitely think it's a very underrated classic, like you said, Jeff. And it didn't necessarily do the time-traveling element, but it did have the gimmick of parallel worlds.
And to be honest, in some ways, I like that gimmick more than time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Because to be honest, you rarely see games that have parallel worlds or dimensions. It's majority of time travel, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But what I love about the game, and I sometimes even say it's superior to Trigger, is the story. I love the story even more. I care about the characters even a little bit more than in Chrono Trigger, you know what I mean?
Really?
To be honest, yeah.
Well, I didn't really know that much about the Chrono series. I will admit that Chrono Cross was the first game that I played in the Chrono series, and
right.
But I really did like the characters, both Surge and Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Surge, he played the silent protagonist role much like Chrono did, but he was one that was actually one of the most interesting, protagonists in a game to date, because the main antagonist, who went by the name of Lynx in the game, who looked like a feline cat in a humanoid form, you actually do get to play as him, but with Surge's spirit, like after about 25% into the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how many protagonists have you seen play in the body of the main antagonist? Not that many.
And that's one thing I love about one, though. It was a twist that I was not to expect in the game. You know what I mean? That's what we really rarely see in games in general these days, is a twist that you didn't see coming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, like you just said.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing that I highly loved, and I do like more than Chrono Trigger, was the soundtrack.
And it was also made by Yasunori Mitsuda, so...
Yeah, I'm saying that... I'm not saying that Trigger didn't have a weak score. I just think that, personally, and mind you, this is from my personal perspective, I tend to think that Cross has a stronger emphasis in score. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like that orchestral. I love the orchestral sound, obviously, but
Yeah.
it has that hint of Celtic as well too. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. I mean, I still think that the boss battle theme still sticks in my head as one of the best themes I've ever heard in the game.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It's really, really memorable.
Mm-hmm.
And I even like how some of the places you go, they kind of pay homage to some of the time, what do you call them, the timelines that they went through in Chrono Trigger. Like that one place that had all the dinosaurs, it kind of made you feel like you were back in 65 million or 65 billion BC, back during the timeline or whatever in Chrono Trigger when you're in Chrono Cross.
It basically is, even though it was considered a spiritual successor or even a full-on sequel, it still felt like it could take place in the same universe.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting. And one of the things that I actually found more interesting was the inclusion, or was the placement of a timeline within Chrono Cross that takes place after 2300 AD, where basically everything has been destroyed by Lavos in 1999 AD, but everything seems like it's back to the modern age, but more of a futuristic approach because of Chronopolis,
Chronopolis.
But yeah, wow. I do agree with what you're saying, and it's kind of ironic that the ending of Chrono Cross had that same feeling of the ending of Chrono Trigger that was open-ended, that you can depict of how the actual ending was, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You can either destroy the Time Devourer, basically it was Lavos infused with the Princess of Zeal, or you can save her by playing the tune that was based off of the what do you call it? The key item, the Chrono Cross or whatever, where you basically play the tunes based off the elements within the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to say that was one of the unique ways on how to end a game was, trying to play this tune based on the order of the, these elemental decks that you played throughout the game, or played throughout the battle, in order to save Princess Shala.
I.e. the best ending of the game.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, yeah, it is the best ending. The canon ending, as they would call it.
Right. Hopefully the canon ending, you know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure it was the canon ending, because...
What if it wasn't?
Yeah, and if
this is Square Enix we're talking about, so...
Yeah, and, a lot of people say that the plot line was kind of confusing in a sense, because a lot of it was, presented at the end where you see Chrono Marl and Luca on Opasa Beach, I think that's what it was called.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like you never see those characters in the game anywhere else, but yet they appear right before you in the final battle. It's like...
But it kind of makes you wonder that what you're just talking about is that kind of... not purgatory, but some type of afterlife when you talk to them as spirits, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because aren't they supposedly dead in that game?
Either that or whatever... Well, Square Enix hasn't officially said, what their fates were. I mean, sure, we got a little bit of depiction of what the fate of, like, some of the countries were, or what the whole planet was in Chrono Trigger because of the second ending, with the fall of the Guardia Kingdom and the disappearance of the Masamune Blade and the rise of the Poré Army, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and there have been people who have been trying to do, like, one in particular, there was this small little developer who was actually trying to make an actual sequel to Chrono Trigger, where it was subtitled Crimson Echoes, and it was supposed to tell about how the game, or the fates of the main characters in Chrono Trigger came to be after the year 1005, where Guardia met its end.
Yeah, this is the 2009 fan project you're referring to, right?
Yeah, the fan project, and it was about to be released it was about to release in a few weeks before it was supposed to release in May of 2009, but Square Enix slapped them with the frickin' cease and desist order.
And that's one thing I dislike about Square Enix is that, like, really, you're not gonna let your fans I understand about IP protection, but at the same time, is that like, it wouldn't hurt to let your fans try out something new and different.
Mm-hmm.
They could probably make a good product.
Yeah, and it'll probably give you some ideas on what games you want to make in the future, or how to continue on with the franchise, which a lot of people want to see you do, is continuing the franchise and not let the Chrono Bus stop at one point.
Yeah. Or in real... Yeah, I agree. I mean, because that's one franchise that I'm highly surprised and hurt that they're just letting it cover in dust, because you would think that they would use that or exploit that like they have with either Final Fantasy or their other well-known products. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Instead, they are thinking about more making a buck on Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest at the moment.
Indeed.
It's just sad that they were once both respected great companies when we were kids growing up, both Squaresoft and Enix. But for some reason, when they combined into one being, they just became corrupt.
I think it was pretty much after the departure of Hironobu Sakaguchi is when the company started going downhill drastically.
Right.
Because if you think about it, Hironobu Sakaguchi was pretty much the conscience of Square Enix, kind of like how Keiji Inafune was the conscience of Capcom before he left. How they weren't trying to pull any crap moves or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went well.
Yeah, because let's face it, Capcom really went down the hill in regards to them when they lost their big three, and that was Keiji Inafune, Shinji Mikami, and Hideki Kamiya.
Yes. And some of those others, like Atsushi Inaba, who made Mad World, I think he was also involved with most of the projects that Shinji Mikami and Hideki Kamiya were involved in. He became really big, especially with Mad World and the upcoming Max Anarchy or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Anarchy Reign?
Or Anarchy Reigns, yeah.
Yeah. Which in some ways is supposedly Mad World 2, right?
Yeah, in a sense, but it's a massive multiplayer online, I think a beat-em-up or something in the vein of Mad World. I wonder how they can pull that off. But anyway.
If they can pull it off, good for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, still, I have plenty of faith in Platinum Games, but
right.
Anyway.
Back on topic.
Yeah, off topic. But Chrono Cross, I definitely think it truly is I definitely think it's a really good sequel, and it's kind of sad to see that the series has kind of stopped with that at the moment, to where it could be hugely be made into a huge franchise. But who knows? We'll just have to see if any more Chrono games will be made in the future, but it's kind of hard to tell because of the direction that Square Enix is going, but you get what I'm saying.
But at the same time, we can have hope, because let's face it, I mean, Chrono Trigger was re-released on the DS and back in 2009, and most recently it was re-released on the iOS, and Chrono Cross being released on the PSP. There's some hope, at least.
And Chrono Trigger being re-released on the Virtual Console and the PSN.
And you mean the Wii, right?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
The Wii's Virtual Console.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there is some hope.
Yeah, at least there is some hope that they haven't given up on the property just yet. But there's also been that thing where the head executive of Obsidian Entertainment says that he wishes to make a new game in the Chrono franchise.
Wow.
Yeah, the head guy who made Dungeon Siege 3 says he wants to make a new Chrono game.
Hey, I would wholeheartedly support that. I love Obsidian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the same here, especially what they did with Fallout New Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Oh, yes.
Hell, in some ways they were the company that created Fallout. I mean, hell,
yeah, and going back to Jeff's statement about, having having a more unified development style with, Western and Japanese developers joining together to make, newer games and newer IPs and all that. Let that take in effect, guys.
Because that's what really would save the whole industry in general.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't always hurt to, work together. That's why collaborations can often tend to be a great success. more often. I mean, just take a look at at games these days. I mean, sure, they take a lot longer to develop because of because of
all the hardware and stuff.
Because of all the hardware, but
Right.
would it not hurt to join together to make something very big in the future? No, it shouldn't.
No. Sorry, I was thinking of an old Aerosmith song.
But anyway. Chrono Cross, I will definitely have to give it my 2 thumbs up, and I definitely recommend for all of you who haven't played it yet, and if any of you have the PS3 or the PSP, be sure to pick it up on the PlayStation Network.
Give it a chance. I highly recommend it.
Oh, yeah. And if you are RPG buffs, then yeah, pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worth your money. Guaranteed. Okay, so I think that will go ahead and that will wrap up the retro gems, and now it's time for us to go on to our next segment, which is the big highlight, or I mean the big release.
The big release.
Get ready for some action!
Boom shakalaka! And in today's big release, we are talking about the 2012 PSN and Xbox Live Arcade download title, NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am still shocked that NFL actually let EA to made another Blitz.
I'm really shocked that that EA even got the
rights
to make an NBA Jam of all things.
That's true, yeah, because they were both previously owned by Midway, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and the main people who came up with the idea for NBA Jam and NFL Blitz actually worked at EA when they made those games.
Mm-hmm.
Irony.
Yeah, irony. So, yeah, and for those of you who don't even remember what NFL Blitz is, then think of then just think of NFL on crack, where everything is arcade based and where you can do super moves and do all this over the top action.
Think of another Midway classic, Super WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Super WrestleMania.
Yeah,
we would love to see that. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. I actually would, but yeah,
where
like
no referees give you any trouble, and you can just do whatever the hell you want.
Oh, not in the recent release because they got rid of tackling a player after they made a play or a touchdown.
Oh yeah, that was like the big upset or something.
That's not cool.
Yeah, that was like the biggest upset. Wasn't there like many games? I think like over on Screw Attack, I believe some people were going like, "Oh, we're not going to buy the game now. We're just taking away tackling."
I remember Craig was pissed when he found that out.
Oh yeah.
Oh
well,
yeah.
I can understand, but seriously, it's just tackling. They want to have some. So I can understand they want to have some sense of reality in the game. That would, that's kind of logical, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a game. It doesn't matter if it has realistic, rules and regulations. It's a game.
That kind of pisses me off too, because with the recent trend of neck injuries taking place within an NFL game, it really makes me kind of sad that they would try to be a bit more conservative with the development of this game, to where they try to make it a bit more on the realistic side instead of the arcadey experience. Because that's what NFL Blitz is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be over-the-top arcade action where you can do anything you want within the game, whether if it was to, do a power bomb or a suplex after you tackle a player or whatever.
Agree.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be realistic.
Yeah,
but
of course they thought that a lot of games would think like, oh man, I can probably do this in real life, or they probably thought that gamers are just childish, and we cannot have that because that would make an unrealistic something and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. But of course, there's always has to be those politically correct jerks who always have to say, no, this can't even happen. You have to do it this way.
Yeah.
Well,
that's game companies for you.
I was gonna say they shouldn't have done that. They should have made another Mutant League Football.
That's one franchise I'm surprised they haven't revived, to be honest.
And that's an EA franchise, believe it or not.
It is, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh yeah, when I saw it on Retro Hunters, yeah, I recognised the cartridge kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and it was on the Sega Mega Drive too.
I remember having that game in Genesis when I was a kid. I loved that game.
Yeah, and I remember the I guess the sports commentator would always make that yum, 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 yum noise whenever he spoke. It's like he's speaking in gangster in a Sega Genesis game.
Mm-hmm.
It's still
Speaking
funny
jive.
that Super Nintendo days, just because they can handle the chips in like Star Fox, it's always so.
Oh yeah, Star
Well, it's
Fox
commonly
speech.
known as retro. Yeah, but there's a proper term. It's called rare speech.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, anybody?
Yep.
Even Okami fell in that trend. They had rare speech, as well as Capcom's Monster Hunter series.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, especially with Monster Hunter Tri.
Just hoping that if ever they chose to give Zelda speech, which I highly doubt.
Oh, and that's another thing. Zelda franchise, I'm sorry, but it needs to have voice acting now.
Thank you.
Yeah, it kind of needs
Yeah.
it.
Well,
But of course, it would need to be, good. We wouldn't like, CVI again.
And not as
well,
cheesy as,
that's the
hey, if you press
that's the
down and
reason why
forward, you can
there's
maybe
no-
do a duck walk.
Yeah.
But that's a sad reason why that people don't want voice actors because of the CDI games.
Yeah,
Right.
but they kind of brought it in a bit more, with
but they-
Skyward Sword, with the Zelda's singing and whatnot.
Right, but that's the thing. That's just some of their fans need to grow up. I mean, that's just kind of sad that they bring up the fact of a 20-year-old game, almost going into 20 years.
And everybody know
Probably.
it was bad.
Yeah, and it's the fact that you're blaming those set of games that weren't even made by Nintendo nor even endorsed.
Right.
You're blaming them for that, for not including voice acting? I mean, come on, that's childish. I'm sorry.
Facepalm all those people.
Thank you.
Oh, that's
Yes.
fanboys for you.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's another one of those things, too, is that people don't even like the voice acting in Sonic games these days. It's like, grow up, people. I mean, sure, it may be corny, but at
It's a
least
game.
it's a
to be
game.
corny.
I mean, you don't have to judge a game by, how good or bad the voice is. It's just a freaking game.
I mean, seriously, if you really want to play a dark and serious, edgy Sonic game, go play the crappy ones like Sonic 06 or Shadow the Hedgehog.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeedos.
Yeah.
And you can actually see the princess in Sonic 06 actually get rabies from Sonic the Hedgehog by kissing him in the lips.
No, that's
Don't mention it. Don't mention it. Oh God.
The first true furry couple, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
But
But
back on topic.
but yeah, back okay, okay, back on topic. So how much did they say NFL Blitz was? Was it $15 again?
I would go on and say $50 probably.
Yeah.
I would say the same price as NBA Jam on Fire Edition.
Okay. Do you think it's
NFL Jam?
Do you think, for a revival of a beloved IP, do you think that the amount of money that it's charging for is worth it, or do you think it could have been a bit cheaper?
Probably cheaper since it's a PSN XBLA game.
But then again, this is EA we're talking about.
Of course.
Right, but that's the usual consensus of what people think of a downloadable game. That it should be cheaper than a real retail game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at this, right, for a pricing, you're all familiar with the new Sonic CD release, aren't you?
Oh,
Yes. Oh yeah.
That is priced right at
$5.
Exactly.
yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Which is now obsolete. Right, as soon as Sonic 4 Episode 1 will just be obsolete, because as they said, Sonic 4 Episode 2 is going to be completely different.
Oh, yes. New engine.
Yeah.
It's going to be completely HD and new physics, as they said. Well, to try to, make sure that the physics are on par with what we loved about Sonic games in the past. But
That's the only thing. I like to say that was the only thing I could kind of agree with. The rabid fan base complaining about was the physics in Episode 1. But besides that, it wasn't that bad of a game. It was actually good.
no, it was actually really fun.
It was really fun, but just overpriced.
Right.
That's the
Oh yeah.
trouble.
When it
Yeah,
was-
I agree.
when it was originally released back in 2010, yeah.
At first, when the game, but not to go off topic or anything, but with the teaser that Metal Sonic was going to be, is going to be in, episode 2, it kind of made me thought whether or not if Amy Rose was actually going to be in it too, just for that episode to pay homage to Sonic CD.
Probably.
But instead it has Tails in it.
Which is kind of interesting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason why they're doing that is just to please the fan base that was upset that he wasn't in episode 1. You know what I mean?
Probably. But anyway, I think that we'll go ahead and that will close our talk on NFL Blitz. And even though we would like to say EA, we endorse you to make another Mutant League Football or Mutant League hockey now.
That would be nice.
Yes, that'd be nice, and you'd actually get more bang for your buck if you made those games. If you wish to, if you wish to have those, if you wish to have more arcadey sports games, then make a new game based on that franchise now.
Yeah, but
they would get a lot of money. It's not even funny.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course that would require trying from EA's side, and you know how good that is about EA.
Hey, if there's one thing I gotta say with EA, is that compared to the '90s, they're a little bit more better. You know what I mean?
True. That's very true.
They are. Compared to Activision. You got me. Activision is worse compared to EA.
Okay, well, anyway, I think that we'll go ahead and that will conclude our talk on that. And now it's time for us to go to our favorite segment, which is the execution.
The execution.
Without TheBadGamer this time.
Yes, it's time for us to kill a game, and we have given 16-Bit Jeff the honor of bringing a game that he wants us to execute. And what is that game you want to execute today, man?
It's a movie that it's based off a movie that every Batman fan loves to death. It's the video game adaptation of 1997's classic Batman and Robin.
Classic? Don't you mean bomb?
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I bet. Just kidding.
Some ice.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Okay,
I'm a scientist now. I make ice things now.
Stay frosty! But anyway, yeah. Batman and Robin on the PlayStation 1, that is what we're executing today. And I'm actually watching a YouTube video of the game right now because I haven't even played it, and my God, is it an eyesore.
It was one of those games that originally tried to bring the open world idea into a 3D space. And it most time it kind of worked, but because of the usual trope of video games based on movies, it's crap.
Yeah, and
you can tell just by the graphics on the even on the PS1 game.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
I'm not having a good feeling just hearing about it. That's probably why I'm just sitting here going, "Oh dear Lord."
Yeah, and movie-based games are not usually the strongest forte when it comes to games back then, and even most games now. Even though they do kind of get, they kind of tend to get better to some extent, but for the most part, it's still, pretty crappy to this day.
Yeah, because like you just said, the only two I can honestly remember in the 90s that were good, that were based off of a movie, was the N64 classic. That ironically came out the same year as Batman and Robin, GoldenEye.
Exactly.
And the N64 game Mission Impossible.
You want to know what my favorite movie-based game was back on the Super Nintendo?
Which one?
Batman Returns.
Good one. Very good one.
Yeah,
Very
by
good
Konami.
Or is that what I like to call it? Batman Final Fight or Batman Streets of Rage?
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
And this was made during a time when Konami knew how to make games back in the day. They were like one of the kings of the Super Nintendo back then. But pretty much nowadays, they're mostly crap. But,
50-50, I like to say best.
Well, 50-50, yeah, I'll have to agree. But with Batman and Robin, I mean, when you take, sure enough, the movie was extremely awful. And so it should come as no surprise that the game would be extremely awful as well. I mean, there are some cases where movies are bad, but the games actually tend to be very good. But in this case, no. This game is horrendous.
Yes. And I like to think it was one of the reasons why Acclaim originally went down. Because if you don't know, Acclaim was the publisher. Sadly, I don't know who the developer was, but I remember clearly that Acclaim was the publisher.
I think the developer was Ubisoft, now that I think about it.
Wait, Ubisoft?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to check this.
I'm pretty sure it was Ubisoft, either Ubisoft or Acclaim. Because I remember Acclaim made Batman Forever.
No, that was actually Probe. The same guys that made the console ports of Mortal Kombat 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that like a subsidiary of Midway or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. But, yeah, I remember...
All right. Probe.
Because I remember that Ubisoft got their hands on some Batman games back then, for them to develop, but I couldn't remember if Batman and Robin was actually put out by Ubisoft or if it was still put out by Midway or Acclaim or whatever.
Probe was the developer of Batman and Robin, so there you go.
Yeah, I know that Ubisoft worked on the Batman Beyond, The Return of the Joker game that was based off the animated movie, but...
and that was a good game, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
For what it was okay.
Uh-huh. And even the movie was awesome, too. I mean, really dark, but really awesome. And...
Batman and Robin, even if you look at the review that IGN gave it, is that the only reason why you're gonna get it, it's because you're a Batman fanatic, not because the game's good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And this movie, even though it was the first to star Mr. Freeze, then shortly after its release came the movie Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, the animated movie based off the Batman animated series in the 1990s. And that was actually 100 times more superior than Batman and Robin.
You know what the funny thing is, looking back at the Batman and Robin game for the PSX, was that the only redeeming qualities of the game were the graphics and the sound.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, those... granted, any PlayStation game that has graphics looks like crap these days, obviously. But back in the day, back in the day in the 90s, that was the only redeeming quality of the Batman and Robin movie-based game, was that the graphics were good. I mean, they were really detailed, especially for a 3D-based Batman game. You know what I mean?
Oh, no kidding. And
the sound was beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing. Those are the only two quality-based things that I can say something good about the game.
Yeah.
The rest, crap.
Yeah, gameplay is crap. I mean, you can't judge a game if it's good by the presentation. It's the gameplay that matters, and that's where Batman and Robin tend to fail to hit the mark.
And I should know I played it once.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a good Batman game, Batman and Robin on the PlayStation 1, it is definitely not going to be your cup of tea. We definitely recommend that you stay away from it. And Jeff, if you would like to do the honors,
Batman and Robin related. I mean, okay, or maybe not everything Batman and Robin related, but you get my point.
Yeah. The only thing I wish for Batman and Robin, since it was so bad, is I wish that Bane would break Batman's back.
Well, there's a Dark Knight Rises, so.
Well, yeah,
but big screen, so good for you.
Yeah, Dark Knight.
I had my Batarang ready, so when Jeff did the honors.
What I think is really going to happen is that Batman is going to have his back broken in the prologue. That's going to. I think that was supposed to air with the, as a prologue, 8-minute prologue during the new Mission Impossible movie that's coming out or already came out. Because because if you take a look at some of the footage or some of the pictures of the, of the movie The Dark Knight Rises, Bruce Wayne is pretty much has a cane on him most of the time, and he's not actually, fighting against thugs or whatever. And like in that one part where Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon was in the hospital bed, he was actually telling, Bruce Wayne to come back as Batman. Because, Gotham has kind of fallen off the face of the kind of has fallen or sunk so low because of how big the crime wave has escalated, and there's no Batman to help because, after the public has, looked at Batman as like a scary image or whatever, and since he's been out for 8 years, since that's what, the timeline of when the movie takes place, is that, the Dark Knight needs to rise up once again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've learned that from Nightwing 01, which is K-Wing, because he's the bigger Batman fan than most of us, since he knows a lot about it.
Dude, that's an understatement. You and I both know that.
What?
And understand, as in, he's more than that.
Oh, he knows a lot about Batman, trust me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He knows a lot, so...
Yeah, exactly.
And more.
Yeah.
He knows a lot and more.
Yeah.
It's scary when you think of it, but
yeah. But anyway, Batman and Robin, Jeff, would you like to do the honors of executing it or telling it to die?
Yes, I will. Decapitation!
Finish him!
Yes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Executioner or whatever. You done us justice to execute Batman and Robin on the PS1 with good grace, as well as Batman and Robin in the movies. Yeah, the movie.
Yes.
But anyway.
Oh, and also, Mr. Executioner, here's a batarang.
Yes, exactly. Here's a batarang. Here's a grappling hook. Here's
a freeze gun.
Here's a cape and cowl for you. You have done us justice. You are the new Batman. You are the Batman of those movies to execute the bad performance of both the movie and the game. Mm-hmm. Period. Okay, guys. Now we're done. Since we're done with the execution, it's time for us to be happy and go to the video game playground to have some fun.
The video game playground.
Yay!
Like
and
right now.
and if most of you remember the video game playground, that is where we talk about the games that we are currently playing right now. And Jeff, would you like to start out with what you have been playing as of recent?
Well, I've been playing a lot of games because of the holiday season, and one game I've been constantly going back to, and this is kind of wrong because we brought this franchise up countless times in this series, well, actually two of them, is Sonic Generations.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna go and say that I know it's next week, but I'm saying this right now. This is one of my most favorite games of last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I have to agree too. I mean, after I think Sega or Sonic Team has really pulled themselves out of the mud and started making really good 3D Sonic games all over again.
To be honest, I gotta say, ever since they made Sonic 06, they realized that they were doing crap jobs with the franchise in general, and they tried their best to make better products. Because let's be honest, Sonic Unleashed wasn't that bad of a game.
It wasn't that bad, but I don't think it hit the mark perfectly. But yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Now look at its successor, Sonic Colors.
Oh, amazing!
Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Generations, one of the best games of the decade for Sonic. So, you know what? At least you say what you will, that the things are crap. They can't make a good Sonic game. I'm sorry, but let's look at the real concrete truth: is that ever since Sonic 06, that was a wake-up call to them. That's saying like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We need a new, fresh idea.
And besides, Sonic 06 was a rushed product, so.
Yeah, we all know that. It's kind of the big thing now because and besides, Sega has pretty much been listening and only listening to the fans, by the way. So it is no one but yourself to blame, really.
Right.
And I also like that about developers, as for them to have a more open mind with the community to hear their feedback and what they want to see within future titles.
Well,
exactly.
yeah, of course, but there's one thing listening to fans and there's one thing listening to whiners. But yeah, you're right, of course. It's fun listening too.
But of course, I feel that one community has kind of disregarded their fans and started to execute things from eternity, and that is Capcom. Mega Man Legends 3 and Mega Man Universe.
Going with Legends 3, I really feel sorry for the fan campaign they're trying to still do.
Oh,
Get Me Off the Moon.
Oh, Get Me Off the Moon or the 100,000 Strong to bring back Mega Man Legends 3.
I don't want to say it because I do feel sorry for them, but I think it's time to just give up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it. I mean, I feel bad saying it because I do want to see the game be made, but there's no way that's going to be made. Especially in the current state Capcom is in right now, it's not going to be made. I hate saying this, I really do, but just give up, please.
Right. And I think it's come to the point where they kind of, where some people are kind of giving up hope at this point.
Yeah, like if it eventually does get made in the future, great. Mm-hmm. But right the current state right now, especially what Capcom's been doing recently and pissing off their fan base, it's not going to happen. It is just not going to happen.
Right.
Well, besides Sonic Generations, I've been also playing Mass Effect 2, my original file. Yeah. Because I'm getting ready for Mass Effect 3.
Yes, it comes out this March.
Baby. It's going to be awesome.
The 6th of March, baby.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And a demo in January if you got Battlefield 3.
You know what? You want to know what also comes out in March?
What?
Operation Raccoon City.
Yeah. Ninja Gaiden 3.
Yes, Ninja Gaiden 3.
You know what's funny? You know what's the funniest thing is? Not Ninja Gaiden 3, but Operation Raccoon City is coming out on March 20th. You know what's funny? That's my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Nice. It's like a birthday present.
Very much.
It's like they know.
Actually, no. Well, wait. Actually, that and Ninja Gaiden 3 are coming out the 20th, right?
I think so.
Ooh, nice.
And just a few days away from Kid Icarus Uprising releasing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And just announced the recent Silent Hill game is coming out the 6th as well, too.
Oh, yeah. What is it, Downpour?
Downpour, yeah.
I'm still waiting for the HD collection to release.
What do you guys honestly think about the upcoming Silent Hill game?
Oh, a Downpour?
Yeah.
It's being made by a Western developer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which one? Is it Vatra Games or is it somebody else?
Vatra Games, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I told you about this before, but I haven't really been paying attention to Silent Hill that much as of recent.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I mean, it's good to see that the franchise is still kicking and it's still going on to this day.
Yeah. I would say I have more faith in it than I did with Homecoming.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that was the reboot.
I was highly disappointed with Homecoming.
Yeah, it's a reboot with the game you play, but it's actually a sequel in disguise.
Not the aesthetic, not the feel, not the story. The main problem I had with the game, and I still do to this day, the control.
Right.
That's what really killed the game for me. But I've been playing a lot of Mass Effect 2, like I said, because I'm trying to get my original file done so I can, transfer it to Mass Effect 3. And I hope to God the ending doesn't suck for 3.
Well, it's hard to say, but I have faith in BioWare. Since they have been doing extremely well with the Mass Effect series to this day.
Oh, true. It's just that, I hope it goes back more to... I hope the aesthetic goes more back to it being a shooter/RPG than just a shooter like it wasn't 2. You know what I mean?
Well, to be honest, yeah, so I hope. And from what I'm seeing... I mean, my biggest problem with the transferring from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2, which by the way, I got Mass Effect 1 and 2 thanks to the Steam Holiday Sale. Thank you, Valve.
Nice.
But anyway, my biggest problem with the transferring was that the level up system, it was just bad. I mean, from going around looking at everything, looking at codex entries, just finding general stuff, killing enemies. Suddenly that was gone. You can only get squad points by finishing missions, which is a bad idea.
And I agree with you. And there's another thing reason why that, as much as I like Mass Effect 2, compared to Mass Effect 1, I really don't like it, is that with Mass Effect 1, I felt more immersed into the whole universe because of what you could do, you know what I mean? You could go onto a desolate planet, go on that said planet, and explore the whole thing itself, while Mass Effect 2 can't.
I suppose, I agree to some extent to that.
Yeah.
Although there's one thing that Mass Effect 2 has over Mass Effect 1, and that is Morden.
Oh, yeah.
And the characters, really. I mean, in my opinion, some of the characters are... Some amount of characters and What not? I like more. What I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that I like the Mass Effect 2 characters more than in the Mass Effect 1. But then again, I mean, but the story was indeed more immersive in Mass Effect 1 than in Mass Effect 2.
And let me just state that if you have a romance with Miranda in 2, it's freaking hilarious.
I know, right?
It follows the same. It follows the same trope of the the mean, cold-hearted woman. You know what I mean? At first she was mean and cold-hearted, but if you start a relationship with her, she'll be nice and sweet to you.
Which is
there's just only one thing I'm scared about for Mass Effect 3.
What that?
What?
The male Commander Shepard and Krogan romance.
No snoo. No snoo.
Okay, we need to quickly get off this subject now. Who else has been playing?
I think I just broke everybody.
No, Commander Shepard will be tagged off a crushed pelvis. Thank you very much.
But anyway, were there any other games that you've been playing, Jeff?
I've actually been playing a lot of Battlefield 3. Like I said earlier, I like both Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3. I just prefer the whole game itself, both single player and multiplayer in Battlefield.
Right.
And I don't get why, and I just don't get why that one of the biggest topics of last year was the whole war between these two games.
Vastly different.
I think Bobby Kotick really started it all because he wanted to see Battlefield 3 at E3, but he got kicked out before he could see it.
They kicked him out and said no. I get that, and it was mainly because of the companies, both Activision and EA, that started. But when you think about it, yeah, they're both vastly different games, and they're in the same genre and kind of similar in some sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, not vastly. They are similar in many points, but in the game, in the core, they are different. They are not the same game at all.
Right. Another game I've been constantly playing too is Uncharted 3.
Ah.
And I'm gonna say this, and I gotta say this right now. Uncharted 3 is my personal favorite of the Uncharted franchise.
The best sequel of a sequel, huh?
Marlo.
It has the better story because unlike Uncharted 2, where it just felt like the cliched summer blockbuster film, which didn't have any character development whatsoever.
Right.
3 does. You care about what's going on.
Yeah, I really do like the further explored relationship between Nathan Drake and his friend Sully.
Well, I would say not only the relationship between Drake and Sully, like having that father and son relationship. But that relationship that Drake and Elena have in the third game as well too.
Yeah.
Because,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my question is just where the hell happens between the two games that makes them break up and get together and break up again?
Well, it's obvious that there's gonna be a game that's gonna explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully. Seriously, we kind
A
of need
PS Vita release, maybe.
Golden Abyss,
But-
I take it.
Golden
Golden Abyss is a prequel to the first game. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But
So
with
what I
that
mean
said,
is
but with-
a Vita
with
one
that said-
could be.
True, because Naughty Dog is actually working on something else for the PS3 after Uncharted 3.
Last of Us.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I can't wait till that game comes out. It looks
It
beautiful.
looks sweet. I mean, maybe a bit generic, but sweet. But on the point of Uncharted 3 characters, Charlie Cutter is one of the best characters I've seen in video game history. I'm serious. I mean, he may be a bit generic at times, but he's awesome. In my opinion, at least.
You know which game I thought was... I don't know if you guys are agreeing with me, but for a graphical achievement, you know which game I'm going to say? Well, not only graphical, but a technical achievement. I'm going to say this. One of the most technical achievement games in this generation, I hope that goes down as it is L.A. Noire.
Oh, yes.
I agree. I mean, in technical, yes.
I mean, sure, it had good technology in terms of, like, the motion capture of the faces.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, it really looked realistic in a sense.
I mean, that's the most realistic game besides the other games I played on the 360 or even the PS3 this whole generation. I gotta say that's the most believable game I have played this whole generation of consoles.
Couldn't agree with you more.
And the last two games I've been playing have been obviously Arkham City and Rage, obviously.
Ah.
Oh, how was Rage?
Well, I'll say this right here and now. I grew up as an id fan. You know, if it wasn't for id, obviously I wouldn't be a first-person shooter fan.
Right. Yeah.
I love the game. I love what id Tech 5 is and shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the multiplayer, but I was a little bit let down because I felt it was a very short game.
Yeah.
And I've been playing a little bit of Mortal Kombat.
The new one?
Yes.
Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
And it is one of the best stories I've played
Oh, yes.
in the whole franchise. Granted, it's a reboot, but it's a beautifully well done reboot.
Exactly.
Story-wise.
Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, the storyline is going back to where it started, but it actually kind of ties into the previous game Armageddon in a sense.
Well, yeah, because it takes place after Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I'm wondering is how is Mortal Kombat 10, i.e. MK2, gonna be like? You know, like how is the story gonna progress after what we saw happen in the end of Mortal Kombat? You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder, you know, how they're going to defend themselves from Quan Chi and Shang Tsung now,
Hey, no
stop.
spoilers, no spoilers.
and Shinnok as well.
Spoilers.
Oh, who cares? About
Carlio's just sitting there grinding his gears.
How
man.
could they be spoilers when they were pretty much the main villains in Mortal Kombat 4 and Deadly Alliance?
Don't ask me how, but the fans will react.
No. You forgot about Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero.
Oh god, that game can go rot in hell for all I care.
Oh,
Next
come on.
execution.
No.
Next execution.
Dude, it's a better game than freaking Special Ops.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
mean, Special Forces. At
I
least
will
it's like-
agree, it is a much better game than that. Anything
But
else?
And last game, Gears of War 3.
Ah,
To be honest, that's been the most played multiplayer game I've been playing on the 360, to be honest.
oh really?
Nice.
Well, it's because I know it sounds cliched, but I prefer Gears of War franchise over, say, like Battlefield or even Modern Warfare, because I get sick and tired of that. At least I get why it's a trope, but you know what? I like the ideal of Gears of War because it goes back to what I grew up with first-person shooters in the 90s. It's over the top. It has that feel, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, those are the games I've recently played.
Voice.
Okay. Carlio, what have you been playing?
Well, as I mentioned the Steam holiday sale before, I kind of went out of my way and bought a lot of games for a little amount of money.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's see here. Let's just pull up my laptop dashboard here and okay, Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, Half-Life 2 I got, and I also got Half-Life 2 and Half-Life Lost Coast from Valve for some reason. I bought Magicka. I don't know if I maybe did that before, but I also bought Sonic Generations. The only reason I bought it because it was so cheap here.
Uh-huh.
And I also bought Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. And I probably
Nice.
bought. Yeah. So yeah, I've been busy buying. I haven't been
Of
busy
course.
playing. Yeah. Damn you, Steam, for having those low deals.
And not only that, but I heard the PC version of Sonic Generations was the definitive version of the game, was it?
Well, it has more mods and it is, you know, it is more smoother in the gameplay.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, especially
It is actually really smooth. It is ridiculously smooth.
It's especially in the cutscenes because the
Well, no,
if
no,
it-
not. Well,
No, I'm
maybe the
just saying-
cutscenes are, but I haven't compared the cutscenes.
it is because I have the
but they're-
360 version, dude, and the it's the frame rate is kind of a little blocky at some points.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, fine then. The cutscenes run smoother on the PC,
Yeah.
so yeah. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so I completed Mass Effect 1. It was awesome, to say the least. And although I kind of prefer Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 1, but not by much. Half-Life 2, I haven't completed that yet, but you know, it's good. It's a bit overrated, I suppose. Magicka is glitchy to play online, and that's really the only thing I've been playing online. Because, you know, it's kind of pointless otherwise. Sonic Generations, it's awesome. It's a really nostalgic trip, and it shows that Sega has finally found their way to how to make a great 3D Sonic. And quite frankly, I felt that the 3D Sonic was better than 2D Sonic. Come at me, bro.
Well, because they finally got that formula right that works with a 3D based game in the Sonic franchise.
Yeah, you know, but the fan base is gonna say, no, we have 2D Sonic back, yay!
Well, they need to. Well, no offense, man. Like I've said previously before, they need to grow up.
I agree.
Yeah.
They need to do it, and
evidently they're going to start bringing back the other Sonic characters to where they're going to become playable, and they're going to have their own little new niches to make them more enjoyable.
Well, that's the thing. I hope they realize that less friends for Sonic makes a better game, and it does.
Oh yes.
Like if you have the essentials, that's what you just need. You need the essential Sonic characters, and that's it.
Sonic, Tails,
Knuckles.
Yeah,
we kind of need a new Sonic Adventure if it's made good, mind you, of course.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Otherwise, I got Skyrim in what's it called? Christmas present, but I haven't been really playing as much as I probably should have because it's kind of messy on my computer. And also, I feel there is I kind of feel there is too much to do, but that's probably just me.
I got a question, Carlio. What point in Skyrim are you at?
Not very far at all. I kind of got lost. I kind of tried to follow the main story more than follow the side quest, and I got to the 7,000 steps before you go up to meet the dragon guys.
I was gonna ask if you took that side quest from the tavern where you try to get that golden claw back.
Oh, that is easy, man.
I'm saying, did you expect that? Do you expect of all things of that boss to be a freaking huge spider?
No.
Because that creeped the hell out of me when I first saw that.
I just kind of thought, hey, I didn't think it was a boss at first. I was like, what, that's a bigger version of the old spiders I've seen. Well, that's interesting.
I'm like, okay, I can understand the spiders. Like, oh god, what the? Ugh.
Did you shoot them in the knee?
Oh come on, man! Really?
Shut up.
Just kidding.
That meme, that meme fits perfectly in the Skyrim universe, but it is overused like none other.
Yeah, I agree.
It's actually kind of funny you bring that up because I was actually talking to my friend Jerry, who I also do a podcast with on Reviewtopia called The Carcast. I was talking to him about yesterday, and the funny thing is that when he got that game on day one and we heard that meme and saw, he's like, I'm surprised. I won't be surprised if that became a meme, and it did. You know what I mean? So it's understandable why it became a meme, but yeah, it's been overused.
Oh, indeed. Otherwise, I've also been playing Sonic Generations on the 3DS because my sister got it, and I had to complete it for her because she's on the games.
How is it on the 3DS?
It is good. I think it's actually a good game on the 3DS.
It's good, but the only downfall is for modern Sonic, there's no 3D-based gameplay except for in the special stages.
Well, it's more like Sonic. It's more like Sonic Rush. It's more like
it's like Sonic Rush Generations.
It is pretty much the handheld games.
Cool.
Sonic Advance and whatnot.
So in other words, I probably wouldn't like it.
Probably.
I'm just saying. I'm just assuming that because I was never really a fan of the Sonic Rush series. So
yeah, but well, it's how to say it. It's the Sonic 3D put in with Sonic Rush. That's it.
Okay.
So if I can probably
but the one thing is that the levels are completely different except for the Green Hill Zone than what you saw in the console versions.
Indeed.
To be honest, if Sega really wants to make me happy and make me a happy Sonic fan, the levels that are in the 3DS version of Sonic Generations, I hope they're future DLC packs for the 3D 360 and PS3 versions.
They might be.
That would be cool.
I hope so because I would love to play Emerald Coast on the 360 version.
Down.
Yeah.
And I'll say it right here and now. I think Sonic Adventure 2 is my personal favorite soundtrack in the 3D Sonic.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, it is good.
Yeah. Otherwise, recently I bought this Mario 3D Land and Mario Kart 7.
Nice.
Yes. And Mario Kart 7, I've soon finished the soon finish all the cups with gold, which is kind of a big thing for me.
And he even got the gold cup on 150cc special cup.
Ooh, nice.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It was easy on Mirror for some reason, I felt, but then again, I was kind of lucky.
I gotta say, Rainbow Road and Mario Kart 7 is pretty easy when compared to Mario Kart Wii.
I don't want to sound like I'm not trying to sound like a Nintendo hater when I say this, but I'm not saying that it was a bad console, but I kind of regret buying it at $250. I don't kind of regret it. I do regret it because let's face it, when he launched.
But then again, you got all the Ambassador games. I don't.
Yeah, but true. But when you think back to the launch, there was no two good games whatsoever. The only good ones were Super Street Fighter 4. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least that's what I'm hoping when Sony releases the PlayStation Vita here in the US. I'm hoping that they have a stronger launch base. You know what I mean?
They have Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus.
Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus and Uncharted Golden Abyss and
oh, nice.
Wipeout.
I didn't. Wait, Ninja Gaiden is officially a launch title here?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus. Yes, it is.
Nice. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
all right.
So
anything else?
I was just gonna say Xavier too.
Yeah. Anything else, Carlio?
Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2. By the way, Demix is a little B. ETCH, whatever.
Demix
Basically, I
from
hate
what?
him. Demix from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh yeah, the guy who plays the sitar or whatever.
Sitar. Yeah, he's cool in that way, but he's fight.
Why does he remind me of Deidara from Naruto?
Oh.
Because they're both weird.
Yeah.
When is that gonna end? Seriously, when's Naruto gonna end?
Never.
Who knows?
When they kill Sasuke, you know that's not gonna happen.
Whenever Kishimoto declares it'll end, it'll end because he's the only one who has the power to end it whenever he wants to.
Hey, guys, not games.
But anyway.
Technically it is, but anyways.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Actually, if you don't mind, there was one game I forgot to mention. I obviously just got it for Christmas, and that's freaking Skyward Sword I've been playing too.
Nice.
Nice. What do you think of it?
Let's see. I will tell you that my personal favorite Zelda games: Link to the Past, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker. This has officially become my fourth favorite Zelda game.
Ah.
Nice.
Not only because of the gameplay too, but more importantly, if this is the concrete official,
timeline
prologue to the whole timeline, I love it.
Oh yes,
I believe it
is. It
is.
Explains it beautifully. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm. I believe it is.
Haven't they said it is?
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I want to ask, have you guys finished Skyward Sword?
Yes.
Oh yes, I did.
All of you in this chat?
I know what happened, so yeah.
I gotta say that when you beat the final boss and when he says that he blatantly pushes a curse on you in your future
incarnations.
Future lineage. Isn't that kind of, I don't know, but was that a kind of a tongue-in-cheek homage to the Castlevania franchise?
Yep.
Maybe it was. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, when I first saw it, I was like, I was laughing because I was thinking that was like a tongue-in-cheek, homage to Castlevania. I was like, that's awesome if that's true, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, I loved the story for the first time in a Zelda game. You know what I mean? I actually cared about the story of what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely thought it was a lot more well-written than Ocarina of Time, to be honest.
Don't get me started that game, please. I'm not saying that I hate it, it's just,
It's
overrated.
It is overrated.
Thank you.
I mean, it's good, but it's overrated.
Yeah. But anything else, Carlio?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
Sadly.
Omega?
I know that's little things, but
What have you been playing, Omega?
I've been playing Battlefield 3
Okay.
since Christmas Eve. I've actually replaced Modern Warfare 3 with Battlefield 3.
Nice.
Good choice.
Good choice.
Which console
Because
version? Is it a console version or
360.
PC? Oh, 360.
360. But as soon as I get a new PC, I have said I am going to get the PC version, and I'm going to use Joy to Key
Cool.
to
Awesome.
have an Xbox 360 controller on the PC version.
Nice.
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 I think a Sonic CD. This is what I was going to bring up, right? It's saying about the community and how some developers should treat them. Sega treat the Sonic Retro community well because it's a member of Sonic Retro who done the engine to have the Sonic CD port.
Oh, and he did a beautiful job for that remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Sonic 2's Spin Dash to replace the annoying pain in the backside one. Well, it wasn't an annoying pain in the backside, but sometimes it was.
Uh-huh.
And the gameplay is good. And also, inclusion of the US and the Japanese soundtracks.
Oh, yeah.
Which, of course, the Japanese is a better version.
I was actually going to ask what soundtrack do you guys prefer, the US version or the Japanese version?
What, Sonic CD?
I mean,
yes.
I haven't even heard this Japanese version yet.
Okay, I even be trolling. I'm not gonna lie. I think both versions have the ups and downs, but from what I've heard, I think the Japanese is better. From what I've heard.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
It's alright. You're probably going to say something different from what I'm saying.
No, I was just gonna say the same what Carlio said, is that like I like both because I obviously grew up with the US version of the soundtrack because of Sonic CDs released on the Sega CD. But as much as I like both, I actually, as I've gotten older, kind of appreciate and like the Japanese soundtrack even a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What I was going to say is there's a big fan complaint as to why the lyrics to "You Can Do Anything," i.e. Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, and "Believe in Yourself" is because, and this has actually been said on Radio Sega, because I pointed it out, that the holder of the lyrics, Casey Rankin, died in 2009. And he owned the lyrics to those songs.
Ooh.
Did not know that.
Well, I didn't until I did a bit of research.
That's very
So,
interesting.
all the fans, oh, where are the lyrics to these songs?
Yeah, that makes sense now actually, because I was thinking about that when I was playing Sonic CD. With the re-release at least, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense now.
Like, someone was bringing up the point on there on the radio show I was listening to, saying about what's it with licenses and CDs and that.
Right.
You think of it, CDs you make a little bit more than you would in a game.
Exactly.
So hence why Sega can get the lyric version on a CD, but not on the game. Due to
True. Yeah.
royalty stuff.
Right.
It's weird, but does kind of make some sense.
Uh-huh.
And then apart from playing Sonic CD and Battlefield 3, I've been playing Saints Row 3, Sonic CD Android.
Yeah. Saints Row the Third is hilarious.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot more than Grand Theft Auto, the Saints Row franchise.
Well, it's
What do you
kind
like, I
of
suppose.
it's kind of funny because GTA was kind of like that when it started with its first two games. It was over the top and realistic. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then GTA 4 came.
No,
I think Rockstar wants to make a bit more realistic games, to be honest, but
which is
and I have no
fine.
problem with that. Yeah,
which
it's
is fine.
completely fine.
Yeah.
Stop big engine.
What?
What?
Grand Theft Awesome by Oni NG.
Oh,
Grand Theft Auto?
Oh, God.
Grand Theft Auto, don't you mean by Ego Raptor?
No, that was the guy who was mentioning. Yeah, it wasn't from Ego Raptor. It was from someone else.
Oh, I see.
Chris
But
OG.
Ego Raptor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Apart from that, nothing else really.
Okay.
Oh no, a bit of Minish Cap on 3DS.
Oh, nice.
What do you think of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
What do
Minish
you
Cap came for the 3DS ambassadors.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, I've been kind of playing a lot of the Game Boy Advance games on the ambassadors program, mostly Kirby and the Amazing Mirror and the Minish Cap.
I'm so I
So
Wait,
jealous?
Isn't the Amazing Mirror a remake of
No, it's that 4-player Kirby game.
Oh, okay.
You're
thinking
referring to
Nightmare
Nightmare
in
in Dreamland.
Nightmare Dreamland. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm actually
Nightmare
doing that as a
Dreamland is kinda
retro
good too,
Let's
though.
Play next weekend.
Mm.
Okay.
Nightmare in Dreamland is actually kind of fun if you ask me. But
Yeah, it is fun. Okay, well, the games I've been...
Carlio. Or
What?
no, Carlio's already been. Oh, sorry, Double R.
Yeah, it's me. I haven't... I mean, I was giving you some time to talk because you hardly ever talk on any of the episodes, Omega.
That's because I usually let you guys get in the discussion,
Rage.
especially with earlier.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we
That
want to
was
hear you talk
good.
some more, buddy. But, you know,
yes,
I mean, you are a part of the show, so...
Subject, but I didn't have much to say because Jeff made all the points I was going to make.
Oh, I see. Okay.
you say too much. No,
It's my fault? Awesome!
Nah, you're right, Jeff. You just made most of the points that I was going to make earlier, so...
Okay.
Okay, well, anyway, the games I've been playing the most are Bayonetta on the 360.
Ooh, nice.
nice.
Yes, I've been doing
It's
that as
solid.
my weekly Let's Play for Necessary Gaming, since I am going to be a partner for them in about a couple weeks. And I've started doing... And the first episode aired back on Tuesday. And I played up to the part before Bayonetta actually starts fighting against the angels within the graveyard at the beginning. So I pretty much covered the beginning parts of that. I mean, the beginning into the part where, you know, Bayonetta actually turns into the female vixen badass that, you know, most of us
Yeah.
like about her.
Did you
Right.
spot out the Sonic reference in that yet?
No, I haven't. What was the Sonic reference?
Yeah.
Apparently there's a zone there with Dr. Eggman's name on it or something. Or something like that. It's...
I know there...
there is a Sonic reference there.
No, wait. Sonic X Bayonetta.
Actually, I know there's an Afterburner reference because of the song that's in the game.
Right, I
The
knew that,
Afterburner
yeah.
theme.
Yeah, there's also an Outrun reference. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for them and...
Outrun. Oh man, I need to play the game.
I'm really surprised with most of the Sega games these days. There's actually been little tidbit references to the other properties within some games. Like the Shinobi game on the 3DS, there's actually a stage based after Afterburner, or based on Afterburner, where you're actually jumping like from jet fighter to jet fighter or whatever, and the Afterburner music is playing.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's
It's a
very...
pity there's not gonna... There will never be a Streets of Rage reference. But like you're in a level
Like-
and all of a sudden you hear that dun dun dun.
They need to make a new game, especially for like the PSN and Xbox Live, like a new sequel with, you know, the 2D, like those high-res graphics that we saw in Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix or something like that.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't
but
care if
with
it's a
the same-
remake. I don't care if it's a remake or reboot. Just make a new Streets of Rage game.
Yes.
Yeah, but have it with the same kind of high-speed gameplay as Streets of Rage 3.
Oh yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Cool beads.
Yeah, I've been playing... like I said, I've been playing Bayonetta. I've been playing a little bit. And for some odd reason, that I have not even beaten that game yet. I don't know why, but I haven't even beaten that game yet. I just don't know. Like I said, I don't know why my interest hasn't been up for Bayonetta quite a lot. Maybe it's because I'm not really big into Xbox 360 games, or I don't know what. the deal is, or maybe I've just been on with some other games and I just totally forgotten about it. But like I said, for some odd reason, just Bayonetta hasn't really caught my attention that much. Maybe I just need to open up to it a bit more when I'm doing the Let's Play, so that way I can play it all the way through and maybe, have a change of heart to, play the game some more even after doing the Let's Play.
Yeah, you need to open your heart a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Open your heart, it'll be
Yeah, I got the
alright.
reference.
Got the reference. And some of the other games that I've been playing on my 3DS, I've been mostly going back to the DS games, but I've been playing them on my 3DS. I've been playing Golden Sun: The Dark Dawn, or Golden Sun: Dark Dawn.
Nice.
Yes. I'm redoing it because even though it's another one of those games I have played a little bit but still haven't beaten, but I decided to go back, to the beginning and, start all over so I can refresh my memory and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been playing Kirby Mass Attack on the DS.
Nice.
Oh,
How's
I
it?
love the gameplay of that.
Oh yes. It's one of those games where the use of the stylus pen actually works very nicely for a 2D game.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a side-scrolling / RTS hybrid of sorts.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. I don't
Yeah,
say.
yeah, it's really good. And what are the games I've been playing? Oh, and I have gotten a Super Nintendo for Christmas, and I've been playing a lot of games, especially.
Nice.
Yes, I've been. One of the games that's mostly been taking up my time is Killer Instinct.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
And
Combo breaker.
Combo Breaker.
No, guys. It's more like this.
Ultra
Combo breaker.
or Ultra Combo.
Or how about some of the character names? Sunder, Spinal, and that kind of stuff. And
Riptor.
and some of the other games for the system that I've been mostly playing were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, the Super Nintendo game.
Oh yeah.
Game's wicked hard. Even on the easiest difficulty, you'll be up for a challenge.
But it is an underrated fighter, you gotta admit.
It is. It's a good one, but it's one of those games that's kind of in the similar vein as Samurai Showdown, where everything is kind of defense-based, and you have to time your attacks perfectly for them to hit your opponents.
Yep, true.
Yeah. And Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse is another one I've been playing.
Oh, nice.
Yes. It's really fun, and definitely think it's one of the best cartoon-based video games I've ever seen on an old retro system. And it was very good to see that Capcom actually made that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back when they made good games. Remember Aladdin for the Super NES?
And I have that too, by the way.
I have a box copy of it.
Oh, nice. For a collector's item. Oh gosh, that must go for a pretty penny if you were to sell that on eBay.
No. Here's a funny story. I actually got that. We do a big thing here in New England called the Big E.
Uh-huh.
I found it out. I found a used retro video game tent. They had a brand new. It was a box copy of Aladdin for Super NES.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
It was like brand new condition. I got it for $20.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Jeez.
And I got another game for $20. Brand new condition, boxless, sadly. Super Castlevania 4.
Nice.
Nice.
If you said Earthbound, I'm going to be like, I'm going to smack you.
Oh, trust me. Oh, I've been having trouble trying to find a copy of Earthbound.
Maybe because it's so good.
I
No,
know.
it's because the print of the game was so limited that copies for the game go for very high on, like Amazon and eBay and all that.
Through that.
Same thing for like Suikoden 2, which I'm still praying for a frickin' PSN release of that PS1 classic because that is my favorite game in the entire series.
You know
Not
what game
the
we
one
need
thing.
released again?
What?
Daikatana.
No.
Oh, no.
You're dead to me. And I
I'm just
bet
kidding,
you.
just kidding.
You
Don't
better
worry.
be kidding, Carlio.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll be right back.
Okay, but anyway, some of the other games that I've been playing, some of the other games I got for the Super Nintendo were Goof Troop, which was also made by Capcom, and
Nice.
it was also the other Disney Capcom game that Shinji Mikami had a hand in because the other one he had a hand in was Aladdin on the Super Nintendo.
Yep.
And I got Cool Spot. That was based off the 7-Up mascot, the side-scroller.
I love that
Ironically,
game.
a good game, actually.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Good music, too.
Yeah.
Okay, I got Batman Returns.
Nice.
Nice.
And I got The Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, you lucky.
Yeah.
At least that's, Batman and Robin.
Battletoads and Battle Maniacs.
Nice.
Don't mention Battletoads near Corey from Screw Attack.
And I have been playing Battletoads on the NES as of lately as well. I'm trying to beat that game.
I feel sorry for you.
Oh, don't worry. Even if you can beat that game, even with the Game Genie, you're the frickin' man.
You know another good Battletoads game was?
Which one?
Battletoads and Double Dragon.
Oh, yes. That's an underrated one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's little known, maybe?
No, two brands coming together to make probably one of the best beat-em-ups ever created.
And still, we don't hear so much from it.
Yeah,
I know.
except for that Double Dragon 2, the Revenge remake that's coming on the Xbox Live Arcade. That's kind of in the vein
what?
as... yes. There is a remake of Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, but it's actually going in the same vein as what Turtles in Time did with Reshelled. It's going to be 3D.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I don't mind that if it's done right.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Turtles in Time, Reshelled, which was... Oh.
That's a bomb. Big old bust.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, Double Dragon 2 remade in a 3D game, I don't mind that.
Well, I mean, it's going for that 2.5D side-scrolling beat-em-up fashion, like
Right.
Reshelled, but yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying I don't mind that. It's matter if it's done right or not. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, and then I also picked up Ys 3 on the Super Nintendo as well.
Wow.
Nice, very good choice, my friend.
Yeah, a lot of people say that Ys 3 on the Super Nintendo, or the game Ys 3 in general, is the worst in the series. But ironically, they say that the remake, Oath of Felghana, on the PSP is actually the best game in the series.
You know, a lot of people say that with Phantasy Star 4, Generations of Doom.
Uh-huh.
That's the worst game of that series, and I don't think it is.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very interesting when
Yeah.
when they say which is best and which is worse.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to pick up the sequel to Magical Quest, which was the Great Circus Mystery on the Super Nintendo. But I'm still trying to get in contact with the person who I bought it off of Amazon to get it to me.
Yeah, you're never gonna get it.
I am going to get it.
Good luck.
Okay. Well, and then the last game I've been playing, since I'm getting ready to do a Let's Play of it, is Conker's Bad Fur Day on the N64.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't hear that, that was me applauding you just now.
Yep. And it's going to be a full 100% playthrough of the main story game. I'm going to be getting...
Nice.
This is the original N64 version you're talking about, right?
Yes.
No. Please,
Good.
please.
Good.
You should have made it the Xbox version.
No, that's
Oh.
another game I'm going to execute later on, is the Xbox version.
Well, it's
Thank you.
really it is
Yeah,
the same version,
I
but
agree with
worser. Because worse voice acting and whatnot.
No, it's
No,
just,
the voice acting was ripped from the N64 game. It pretty much remained intact, except
They
for the Great
censored
Mighty
it.
Pooh
No,
song.
but besides the bleep sounds and whatnot.
I know, but the only thing that was changed in the Live and Reloaded was the Great Mighty Pooh voice.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it.
Because they had to change the lyrics though, or change them up a bit.
Well, it's not just the lyrics, but the voice actor was different, or the voice acting was different.
It sounded a
Oh,
little.
well,
it sounded
what's
a
that for
little
another day, I
different.
suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of funny when you think about Live and Reloaded being censored on an Xbox console.
Yeah, and
And
I
its
have to,
fan-
and
the
I gotta,
Xbox's fan base in general. You know what I mean?
and I gotta say a big screw you to Microsoft for buying out Rare, because we're never gonna get the sequel to Conker's Bad Fur Day anytime soon.
Yeah.
That sequel that was,
or just any good Rare game in general. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean,
They
where's
kind of sold out.
my new Killer Instinct? Where's my new Battletoads? Where's my new Conker? Where's my new?
You see, they need to make more Kinect sports nowadays.
Oh, screw Cadet Sports. That's another game we're going to be executing later.
Thank you.
Yes. But other than that, that is what I've been playing. But, yeah, quite a lot of games that I got for this holiday, mostly retro ones, but, yeah, I've been...
You too?
But, yeah, I've been playing a lot during this holiday season since the last time we talked. But, anyway, and with that, I think that will go ahead and conclude this episode of the 40S Audio Podcast, finally. I mean, I know it was kind of a long episode, but, hey, we're back from Christmas break, so we might as well leave it as it is, because we had a lot of catching up to do. But, anyway, we all hope that you enjoyed this episode of the 40S Audio Podcast, and to sign off, I am DoubleRPG.
Again, I'm Oh, sorry.
Now you go first.
Once again, I'm 16-bit Jeff from Reviewtopia.net, and I'd like to thank everyone here for including me here in today's episode. Thank you very much, guys. I had a great time.
Yeah, anytime, Jeff. You are our first guest that we had on the show, believe it or not.
Yay!
So
nice.
Feel privileged.
I accomplished something. Yeah.
And we'll definitely be glad to have you back in the next couple weeks.
Lifetime achievement unlocked.
Yes. We'll be glad to have you on in the next couple weeks for the top 5 best and worst games of 2011, for each and every one of us when we get BadGamer back.
Yay.
Yeah, that will be only related to that. That will be the only thing for that episode, but nothing else. But anyway.
Otherwise, I am Carlio, and if you excuse me, I need to kick some Heartless butt.
All right.
1,000, if you might say.
Oh, yes, the 1,000 Heartless battle. My favorite thing in Kingdom Hearts 2 is that
it may be one of my best battles of all time, just because it is 1,000. It's probably not the best thing they've delivered, but hell, it's 1,000 Heartless.
Yeah.
You just press triangle.
That was one of the most impressive things for PlayStation 2's life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could have been better if you had more enemies, but PlayStation 2.
Well, I mean, take a look at Ninja Gaiden 2 with when you're going up those stairs and you're fighting like those hundreds of black spider ninjas, and the game starts to slow down in terms of the frame rate.
Yeah. Well, what if they had a new 1,000 Heartless battle in Kingdom Hearts 3? That would be... but this time they had like all the Heartless enemies of all time.
Please bring it to Wii U.
How would that be? That would be the greatest thing of all time.
But anyway, Carlio, and the last person we had on the show?
Is me, Omega Mario.
And like we like to dub, Omega Mario is the person who tends to get left out most of the time because he doesn't speak a whole lot. But yeah, we're always glad to have him on the show as well.
You just speak up some more, man.
Be more assertive, man.
I said that the only reason I don't talk so much is because everyone makes some good points that really confuse the heck out of me.
Yeah, exactly.
With creating half stuff.
Uh-huh. Okay, any plugs that you guys want to give before we log off for today?
The show, maybe. Plug it.
Yes. Continue supporting the show, and if you keep listening to this podcast, you are supporting us for us to do some more episodes, and we'd like to get more special guests coming on later on, down the road, and we hope to do bigger and better things in the future. And I know you plugged in your little thing for Reviewtopia, Jeff. So anything else?
Shameless plug from me.
No, it's okay.
If you obviously don't know, I work for a site called Reviewtopia.net, and we are a site that has a lot to deal with for the internet, including reviews for video games, music, wrestling, books, anime, comic books, you name it.
Uh-huh. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's another place that you guys need to go visit. It's really awesome. So
indeed,
be sure to go visit that after this podcast is over, because you will have yourself an Imasawa time. Imasawa. Awesome spelled backwards, if any of you didn't know. And Omega, did you have any plugs?
Well, if my computer will get back to the way it was, I could be having more stuff on my YouTube channel. But seeing as how it's been in a minute on this podcast, it's still a touch and go procedure. Yeah, just wait and see. If I can get it sorted, I'll have some new videos up.
Okay. And Carlio, did you plug or no?
Support the show. I probably said that, but...
Okay. Alright, to plug plug me before we leave is that Conker's Bad Fur Day, the Let's Play starts this...
Actually, I had one thing. Actually, I may bring this up while I'm at it. You see, there is this guy on Screw Attack called Asai Nerotran. And he has actually a Steam contest where if you join, he will challenge the guys who attend the contest in some games, and if you win those or challenges, and if you complete the challenges and even win the challenges, you're gonna get some free games on Steam. And I don't know if he still takes in. I think he still takes in guys who want to be in it, but come on, you might as well. I mean, he probably has like around 30 now or something, so it's gonna be hard. But you know, why take the chance? If you think you have the skills to be a game master and to defeat everyone, then why not take it? You might win some games.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, it is that.
All right. Well, like I said, Conker's Bad Fur Day starts this Monday, and Bayonetta is still going on Necessary Gaming. Hopefully, I'll become my partnership will start in the next couple weeks, and more videos are going to be coming from me. But anyway, guys, we all hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we shall see you next week for the 40S Audio Podcast. This is Double RPG signing off. Later, guys.
Hello.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye and good gaming.
See you next